Christmas is almost here.
I know.
Well, welcome to Peaks, and Peaks is part of Christian Women's We're doing holiday Peaks right now.
We're doing the holiday Peaks.
Yeah. So we hope you joined us for the 2 Thanksgiving ones, and now we're doing 2 for Christmas.
Yeah.
So is it starting to look like Christmas at your house a little bit?
Oh my goodness, just a little bit. Yes, Christmas is everywhere. We're all in a frenzy getting all the stuff done, and yeah, it's busy. We got our Christmas mugs. I appreciate it.
Christmas mugs.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. That's great. We've been asking the question, how do you experience God in the Peaks?
Yeah.
And wow, how do we experience God in the Peaks at Christmas? It sounds like easy peasy, right? Like it's Christmas for people.
Because we're celebrating the birth of Jesus, so why? Yeah.
But what happens is our schedules, all of the programs, almost everything's good stuff.
And the expectations we put on everything.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of shopping and cooking and baking and preparing and more family gatherings and more parties and all those things. But we have to be very, very intentional to spend time with the Lord and to be with Him, to be present. Right. So, and that's what today's about, because you're going to tell us about that.
Yeah. So this is a Christmas story that I'm going to share that happened several years ago. One of my girls was in junior high. The other 2 were in high school, so it was a little bit ago. And it was the busy hustle and bustle. All the things that we were doing at church, all the things we were doing with my daughter who was in junior high and all that stuff, and my 2 girls that were in high school, and just trying to get like everything done. And I have sometimes I get into the spot, I don't know if you do this too, where your expectations are, okay, this has to be perfect and this has to be done, and just kind of like, so you put all those high, and so you just go. Well, we were doing that. I was doing that in the Christmas season. But I was, a good friend of mine, several years ago, we talked to each other probably once every 6 months. We had just talked, and she reminded me of something we had done many, many Christmases ago, which was getting up every morning and just trying to read through Luke. And really just giving ourselves at least like 5 minutes every morning just to be with God and in the Spirit and what this season is about. And if you read through Luke, that just really is the Christmas story at the beginning of Luke. So I was doing that because I just got off the phone with her before, and she had encouraged me and reminded me and kept me accountable to, yes, we need to be spending time with the Lord. So I was doing that. And I am so grateful for that she had reminded me. Because as I was going through this Christmas season, I just kept hearing that still small voice. And that still small voice was telling me, you need to go to Canada. Now, I know that might sound really strange if you don't know what's in Canada, but I'm from Canada. My parents were there, my sister, her family. And so in going up to Canada, it's an international flight. We're a family of 5. Don't exactly have all extra money to be just flying us all up on an international flight and all the things that involves. So John and I had talked beforehand, and we had decided that this Christmas we were going to stay home, and we were going to stay with the girls, and we're going to, this is the budget and this is what we're going to do. And we just kind of had it all planned out exactly what we were going to do for this Christmas season. But I kept hearing this still small voice saying, go to Canada, go to Canada. And I was trying to ignore it a little bit. And then I thought, you know what? I really think God is trying to say, we need to go to Canada. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I talked to John, my husband, and it's like, I really, really think God is telling us that we need to go to Canada this Christmas. I know it doesn't make sense. I know it's a budget thing. Let's sit down. Let's figure it out. Let's see if we can find something. But I think we really need to figure out how to make this work. And so we did. We went to Canada. We had a lovely Christmas with my family. We just had the best time. We had a snowy white Christmas morning. It was gorgeous. It was like just what you would think of when you're thinking of the perfect white Christmas. That's what it was. It was beautiful, and we had the best time. We stayed through New Year's. We had a great big New Year's Eve party, had all of our old friends over, had extended relatives over. It was incredible. Best time. And came back on January 2nd in time for church. So it was incredible and awesome. And it was a great Christmas, and it was such a peak. But what made it even more of a peak is what happened 2 months later. And I was at work and just going about my day, and I get a phone call from my sister. Now, my sister, she lives in Canada. We don't usually call each other during the day, especially like an actual, like my phone is actually ringing. It's not a text or anything. It's like my phone is actually ringing. So I looked at it going, something is wrong. You know when your gut just tells you, oh, this is not good. And I picked up the phone, and she said my dad was being taken away by an ambulance. He had a heart attack. She says, I don't think they're able to, he's in the ambulance. I don't think they're going to be able to resuscitate him. This is serious. You need to come home. Like, okay. And then she called me maybe half an hour later to let me know that indeed our dad had passed. And I am just so unbelievably grateful for that peak I had a few months earlier. Because it was an incredible time regardless. We had so much fun, but I get to have those sweet, sweet, sweet memories of spending time with my dad. And my girls get to have those sweet memories of Grandpa. And it's just the fact that I really feel like God, that was just a gift from God, that he just blessed us with that experience and that time. And yes, we had a lifetime of memories, but to have that last one and have it be so beautiful and such a incredible, perfect time where we got to spend so much time together and just have so many conversations, and we got to laugh together and cook together and eat together, those things. It was just so special, and I am so incredibly grateful that God just, that still small voice, that he spoke in my heart, that I listened to it, that my friend had called me a few weeks before to keep me accountable. Hey, I know it's busy season, we got to do this. I am just incredibly grateful. For leaning in. It is such a gift, and I know that this is a busy season. I know that there is, I can put that list up and just like, oh, these are all the things, and you know, these are all my expectations.
More for you than a lot of people, because Cassandra, you know, for those who don't know what Cassandra does, what do you do?
I am the kids programming pastor at Central, so that means I put together all the programming, curriculum, all the stuff for preschool and elementary kids at our church.
And then Christmas time.
It's a little bit busy.
Yes, a little bit busy. So it would have to be leaning into not planning to go to Canada, but just knowing for some reason I need to go to Canada.
Yeah, and putting that together. And not only that, I mean, the pieces really fell together. The fact that we were, I don't know if you guys have like buying tickets, like we bought the tickets like 3 weeks out, which is really not a good idea for an international flight, especially at Christmas time. But we were able to find like, oh, there's tickets that are within the budget. All right, we're buying those. And it just all came together, which is, again, just God working in our lives. But you have to stop and take a breath and not focus on all this stuff. And it can be all good stuff. I mean, kids ministry is good stuff. Church is good stuff. What your kids are doing at school is all good stuff. But not thinking about that for just give yourself 5 minutes in the morning when you wake up and like, okay, Lord, this is your season. The season where we're remembering the birth of Jesus, where you came to earth as a human to not only like this is the promise that you had given us for generation upon generation since the beginning of time that this was going to happen, but that is happening and that you're here on earth in order to fulfill your promise that you are making a way for us to spend eternity with you. Let's just take just 5 minutes each day and just focus on that. And then we can go off and enjoy the rest of the day. And hear what God has to say to you. You don't know what God's going to say to you. So just listen to what he is speaking in those moments.
And it would have been very easy not to do the Matthew reading.
Yeah.
But leaning into that and listening to God, and you're getting the nudge. And so yours was a huge thing. I'm sure that's wow. But I'm sure that a lot of smaller things happen all the time, and we miss them when we're not in the Word, when we're not listening to music that you know, that inspires
Sometimes
us.
it's just something like God just will speak, like you need to text out this person.
Yeah.
just reach out and encourage this person. Or, hey, have you thought about this today? Like
Right.
little things that God is working in your heart to do. And when you allow him to do that, then you're now walking with God. You're now walking and doing what God is asking to do. And you're now seeing the world around you as God sees it, not as we tend to see it, which are, I have found to be two different things sometimes.
Do you tend to think that for you, early morning is when you receive all that?
For me, that is the best time of day. And
It's not always.
It's
the
not
best.
always.
It is for me too.
Yeah, but
by
it has
far.
changed over the years.
Uh-huh.
So when my kids were little and I was doing the whole car drive thing, dropping them off and picking them up, which was my least favorite thing to do of all time. Because especially at the end of the day, you're in that huge line and doing that pickup. It's awful. I didn't like it, but I did it. That actually, I had turned that into my time to be with God. Because this was just my own, I discovered that by the time my child got in the car, I was so grumpy and irritated by being in that line that now I'm not being a good parent to my daughter because I'm already in a really bad mood. But if I spent that time with the Lord, whether it was listening to music, listening to a podcast, praying, whatever it was doing, and sometimes I'll even have I'll do the Bible app where it reads to me the scripture,
Right,
which is
exactly.
super helpful when you're driving. Then by the time my daughter would get in the car, I'm not a grumpy Marvin. I'm actually wanting to spend time with my daughter, and I'm in the space of God's spirit, not my spirit. So, yeah.
So at a time when it gets crazy, the crazies are out there.
Yes.
We're being pulled here and there. We need to be balanced and
Yeah.
intentional about spending.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Very good. Well, thanks for that challenge.
Yeah.
I love it, and I will expect more out of the moments of leaning in
Yes.
to the Lord
Yeah.
in the morning, especially during
Stop and listen, and He will
Christmas.
speak.
That's right. Thanks, ladies, for watching or listening, and
Yes.
we want you
To like and subscribe, please
Uh-huh.
make sure you hit that like button on there. Yeah.
We have another peak, one more
One
before
more.
Christmas.
Yeah. Thank you.